I'd like to call this meeting to order.
This meeting will be conducted by audio and video conference without a physically present quorum of the Rock Island City Council due to the disaster declaration issued by Governor Pritzker. Because of this order related to COVID-19 public health concerns affecting the state and the city, the mayor has determined that an in-person meeting at City Hall with all participants is not practical or prudent. Aldermen and staff may not all be physically present at City Hall due to the disaster, and physical attendance at City Hall may be limited. To participate remotely during the public comment or public hearing portion of the meeting, please join by phone at 1-929-324-2649 and use PIN number 809-898-975 pound.
Thank you very much. We need to do a roll call.
Alderman Clark. Absent. Alderman Hurt.
Here.
Alderman Spaghettis.
Present.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Here.
Alderman Parker. Absent. Alderman Poulos.
Here.
Alderman Geenan.
Present.
And Mayor Tomes.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We now have public comment. We have several people that have signed up, and I don't know if there's going to be some out there that didn't sign up, but the first one to sign up was Andrew. I don't know if it's DeFries or, is that correct? All right, you come up to the microphone.
Good evening. I come here tonight to express my support and solidarity with Alderman Dylan Parker regarding his comments towards Rock Island Police Department and its foot pursuit policies. Alderman Parker has made the mildest of a statement regarding police reform and was immediately criticized by the powers that be. To which I say, if you are in a position of power and advocate for policies that challenge the status quo and are attacked for that by the mayor and the police union, you're moving in the right direction. While Alderman Parker is saying something, it is in stark contrast to the city, who since the killing of Deshaun Tatum in April has been completely silent in engaging the public in the wake of his death. While his family continues to protest his killing, what has the city said? Besides a performative statement released the day after Deshaun Tatum's death, there has been no communication, no indication of any appetite for change and resolution from this city's government. What is going on here? It is all too clear that the city believes that if they ignore the problems, they will simply whisk themselves away. The city is in for a rude awakening if it continues down this course. This is not sustainable. So what is there to do? The fact of the matter is, the police budget in Rock Island increases by nearly $1 million annually, while Parks and Rec, Public Works, libraries, public education, etc. receive either mediocre increases or budget cuts. The only way to prevent crime is to eliminate the cause, poverty. We are in the worst economic depression since the Great Depression, almost 100 years ago. And we are not even close to being done with this pandemic. What is being done by the city for the most marginalized people affected by this crisis? How will more money be funneled to the police, ensuring that more police are out there? But what is the problem being solved? How is that going to prevent people from becoming homeless or being able to pay to actually feed their families? How will more money to the police help vanquish the violent institutional racism that has been inflicted against black and brown people since this country's founding? So I ask this of the city. What are you doing about this problem? I'm glad to see that at least someone on the current city council is vocal about these issues, but I want to see concrete action, not just rhetoric. I hope the incoming council takes this issue seriously and critically for the sake of the people of this city. Finally, I have a word of caution and advice. If you are in a position of power, with the ability to improve the lives of the most marginalized people in our society, and after witnessing all of the events, all of the police brutality in the last year, and then some, you sit back and say, this is fine. Well, I ask you, what is the difference between you and a white supremacist? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Don Mavis.
Apologize, I was trying to find something here. Good evening, Mayor, City Council people. My name is Don Mavis. Can I take the mask off when I speak?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Don Mavis. I'm a 20-year resident of the city of Rock Island, and I stand here in solidarity and in support of the Rock Island Police Department. And I think it should be on record. I'm sure most people know what was said, but the actual comment by Dylan Parker, I'm going to read it in its entirety. The Rock Island County, this is Dylan Parker's, Alderman Parker's quote. The Rock Island County Integrity Task Force has announced that the officer-involved fatal shooting of Deshaun Tatum was justified under the law. Additionally, a review by the Rock Island Police Department's Office of Professional Standards concluded that each officer acted in accordance with departmental policies. However, the City of Rock Island and its police department have no policy on the books governing officer foot pursuits. A number of years ago, the police department recognized the uselessness and increased risk of injury or death to officers or the public with respect to vehicular pursuits. As such, Rock Island has a policy prohibiting said pursuits. Are foot pursuits necessary? How effective are they in detaining individuals? How often do they result in injury or death for officers or members of the public? The Rock Island Police Department doesn't even record this data, so a data-driven assessment as to whether the risks related to foot pursuits outweigh the potential benefits, regardless of ethical questions too. I've ridden along with members of the Rock Island Police Department on a weekend evening in Rock Island in my capacity as alderman, and can attest firsthand to the adrenaline that accompanies foot pursuits. How does this affect safety? How does this affect the perception of danger? How does this prompt certain behaviors from those being chased? These are questions not even being asked. While the attention today is an exoneration of the police's behavior, I challenge city staff, my colleagues on the city council, and members of the general public to consider why Mr. Tatum and members of the Rock Island Police Department were put in that situation to begin with. One life lost is too many. The loss of even one life should prompt us to examine the circumstances that lead to the tragedy. We as policymakers have a responsibility to ensure the agents of state violence under our authority have the appropriate policies to check that danger. That's Alderman Parker's quote, and everybody knows that it's raised some ire. But I just a quick 5-minute Google search on the City of Rock Island's Police Department's website, and he quoted this on April 29th. Since April 29th, since he made this comment, which is 12 days, there have been 146 arrests since then, 146, 408 police reports, for a total of 554 communications between Rock Island PD and our citizens that ended up in written paperwork, not including what they do on a day-to-day basis, which could end up in the thousands, I'm sure. And I just think it's unfortunate. I think that in light of Dylan Parker and his response to the pushback for this notice, his response was to double down on it and try to say that it's taken out of context, and anybody with any kind of comprehension skills can see the entire quote for what it is. And it's anti-police, it's anti-law enforcement, it's anti-citizen of Rock Island, and we deserve better. We deserve protection. This is our neighborhoods and our houses as well. Just a quick note, 2019 is the last statistics I could find. In the city of Rock Island, we had 1 murder, 14 rapes, 29 robberies, 95 assaults, 166 burglaries, 599 thefts, 113 car thefts, and 5 cases of arson in 1 year, 2019. All this is public knowledge, and here we are talking about a foot pursuit. We're talking about our police officers doing what they're told to do. They're doing what their job is, which is to apprehend suspects, criminals, and people who shouldn't be on the streets. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. We got Ray Lind, I think, if I got that correct?
Yes, sir. I'm here standing in support of our law enforcement, and I'm asking for Dylan Parker's resignation. I believe he's put the public in danger by putting our police department in danger. He chose to side with the criminal element in the city instead of our law-abiding citizens. And most of this is addressing the empty chair over there, but he doesn't want our police department to serve and protect. He wants them to be a babysitting service for criminals. Quote, I've ridden with the members of RIPD on a weekend evening, and I can attest firsthand to the adrenaline that accompanies foot pursuits. Then he goes on and calls for studies of foot pursuits. Well, I've done many ride-alongs as well, and after all of them, I found no reason to question any of the behavior of any of the officers in any of the situations that they were in. And I'm as big of an expert as he is. Then the stupidest statement of all, you want to consider why the subject and the members of the RIPD were put in that situation in the first place. The subject put them in that situation. You can't even address that. Dylan Parker can't even address that. That's what's pathetic about him and his whole defund the police movement garbage, and that's exactly what this really is all about. Another quote, we as policymakers have a responsibility to ensure the agents of state violence under our authority have the appropriate policies to check the danger. Agents of state violence, that says it all. That tells us citizens all we need to know about Dylan Parker and his attitude towards law enforcement. It's a disgusting and a disturbing description of our police department. And seriously, he needs to resign. At the end of the day, this alderman has chosen his side. This is very easy to fix if he's courageous enough to move forward in the right direction. Instead, he feeds the ignorant, making them believe that the police are the problem. Instead, look at the root of the problem. This isn't just here. This isn't just him. This is a problem nationwide. People like him who are not courageous enough to stand up for what's right and call out what's wrong. Criminals are being hailed as heroes these days. They're being martyred. But the truth is they are the root of the problem. If we fix that, we fix all our problems. We have no crime. We have no police encounters. I'll give you an analogy, and there are many others, but if your brakes go out, you hit a car, you don't blame the other car. You fix the root of the problem, the brakes. It's the same no matter what problem you may encounter. Get to the root of the problem. It's about accountability, yet this alderman is too big of a coward to call for accountability from the criminals. Instead of taking time, effort, money from us citizens to do his studies on policing, you should be taking a good hard look at social activities that'll take kids off the streets. Look at how we can help at-risk families. Stop trying to kid people into thinking the police are the bad guys, because they're just not. You know it and I know it. Just stop being a coward and join the law-abiding citizens in saying no more. Let's fix our youth. Let's do something unprecedented. I know we had a DARE program at one time, and something like that would be worth looking into. Study that. Work with schools to help kids get more positive impressions of police, because they deserve it and they've earned it. I wanted to play a tape of the chaos that ensued after the shooting, but in the interest of time, I didn't. But I've never seen such a volatile situation in my life. I watched from the safety of my home while those officers on the front lines were called every name in the book. They were screaming and shouting, obscenities, people crossing the crime scene. It was loud. It was chaotic. And I didn't think there was any way that was going to end well. Yet because of the courage and the professionalism of our law enforcement in the Quad Cities, there was no rioting, there was no violence, and I was proud of our law enforcement in the Quad Cities. I was also proud of the people who actually stood down and didn't take it any further. I remember praying for our police officers during that whole ordeal, but I also prayed for the young man who lost his life, and may he rest in peace. And may these fine people finally get the respect that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have Jim Kerr. No, thank you. Okay. You all right? Okay. Then we have Sean Rosenberg.
Roseleaf.
Rosenberg.
Roseleaf.
Rosenberg. Sorry about that.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'm Sean Roseleaf. I'm here on behalf of the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police and the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police Labor Council. If I could take a moment to remind you that this week is National Peace Officers Memorial Week. On May 15th, it's actually National Police Officers Memorial Day, this coming Saturday. This past Thursday, several colleagues and I had the opportunity to visit the police memorial, as we do every year, on the same day, the first Thursday of May, where we remembered officers that have fallen in the line of duty. Just yesterday morning at 10 a.m. in a ceremony, there were 10 names that were etched onto the marble memorial on the northwest corner of the Capitol building. Those 10 officers were officers who gave their life in the line of duty in 2020, including one of our own from Rock Island County, the mayor or the chief of Hampton, Chief Terry Engel. So somber times for our members, but it's an important week for us. The reasons that I come here today are twofold. I come here to commend you as the elected body of the city. You have the most diverse, the best trained, and the best equipped police department that the officers in Rock Island have probably ever seen, very arguably. The times that they are facing today, it's very challenging. So the second reason that I come here is to also challenge you. I challenge you to look at the officers that are standing in the room. On any given call, they're ready to give their life to protect you, your property, your family, your businesses, and your visitors. I challenge you to use all the resources that are available. With all of these resources, you may ask, why do critical incidents like we've seen in Rock Island continue to happen? One of the speakers before gave a very good reason why these continue to happen. No matter how much money we put towards policing and protecting society, there are still going to be bad people in our communities. Those people that wish to do harm to you, that have no regard for life, they don't care. But these fine men and women will be the first to give their life to protect you. So I challenge you to continue on the path that you're on. Fund the police. Provide them the training that they need to improve. Provide them with the equipment that they need to do their jobs. I challenge you to ask tough questions. If there are things that you see that you don't like or that you question, my number one challenge is this. I challenge you to push away from the keyboard. I challenge you to stay off of social media. I challenge you to pick up the phone, make a phone call, meet in person with your police chief. He's a lifelong friend of mine. He's a good guy. I challenge you to ask those tough questions, why things happen. There may be things that happen behind the scenes that you're not aware of. I challenge you to do better. Every day we're challenged to do better. When we know better, we do better. And with that, I'll leave you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody virtually that would like to speak? *6 will unmute your phone. Anybody virtually? Is there anybody left in the audience that wishes to? If not, then we will move on. Thank you very much. We're on item number 7.
Minutes of the April 26th, 2021 City Council meeting.
I move to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this is Alderman Geddes.
Yes.
I need to ask Josh whether he received the communication about the 2 corrections that I sent in to Linda today.
Alderman Spaghettis, those were received. They were 2 minor clerical corrections. It didn't change the content, and those were changed and will be updated once approved.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderman Spaghettis,
Yes,
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
and Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carry, 5-0, motion carries.
Item number 8.
Minutes from the April 12th and should be April 26th, 2021 executive sessions.
Motion to approve the executive session minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderman Spaghettis,
yes,
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
and Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Thank you. We're on item number 9, Rock Island update. I'm going to do a little different type of update tonight than normally have done. I'd like to make a statement, but tonight marks the beginning of another chapter for the city of Rock Island. Tonight, we'll be swearing in 2 new aldermen, additionally myself, and one other alderman tonight, and 1 2 weeks from now, will also be sworn in again, and they will begin their second terms in office. I would like to first acknowledge those who will be leaving us tonight, Alderman Ivory Clark and Alderman James Spaghettis. Their time serving the city has been very much appreciated, and they will both be greatly missed. I would like to personally thank them for their time, their commitment to the city of Rock Island, and wish them very well as they go on to the next chapter of their life. The faces of municipality government change, just like the residents of our city and the dynamics of our neighborhoods change. In a few moments, 2 new people will be sworn in, and will sit up here with us as we go on to new business. Portions of tonight's agenda. While some things may change around us, the basics of our local government remain the same. As our history states on our website, the City of Rock Island adopted the city council manager form of local government in 1952 to bring a professional, less political approach to local government. We are a nonpartisan city. We do not run on a party platform. Our citizens elect 7 aldermen and the mayor to be their voice, not only of their ward, but the city as a whole. We are elected to work together to serve our city. Sadly, The last severoll weeks, I have felt a divide occurring within our ranks. It seems as if personal politics and individual agendas have at times taken precedence over what is good for the city as a whole. We were each elected these positions to work together for the betterment of the city and to set the policies and procedures needed to make Rock Island a great city to live, work, and play. We are the voices of those who live in our city, those that work in our city, and those that visit our city. We need to come together and work with the various leaders in our neighborhoods. We sit up here as the playmakers. It's our duty to listen to all of our constituents and determine their needs and wants, and if possible, to set the policies in place to make that happen. We do that as a collective group, and then we trust in and provide support to our staff to ensure those plans happen. Our city manager, our directors, our employees all work diligently to see that these policies are carried out. The city council sets the strategic goals. The city manager implements those goals with the planning and work of the division directors and employees. Our city successfully came through this recent pandemic with the dedication and assistance of all employees and aldermen and women. We worked together to ensure our city emerged in a position to grow and thrive. The foundation upon which the city of Rock Island is built is strong. Together, we will make it stronger, robust, and able to withstand future challenges. United together in a common goal to improve our city will continue to be the place that people want to come, work, live, and play. Thank you. Item number 10.
Proclamation declaring May 16th through May 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewer, streets, and highways, public buildings, and solid waste collection, and whereas the health, safety, and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials, and whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff public works departments is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform.
Now therefore, I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, do hereby proclaim the week of May 16th through May 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week in the City of Rock Island, and call upon all its citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributors with public works officials make every day to our health, safety, and comfort and quality of life. Item number 11.
Proclamation declaring the month of May 2021 as Historic Preservation Month. Whereas the City of Rock Island is the oldest of the Quad Cities, and whereas the community is home to an impressive collection of historic buildings, sites, districts, structures, and objects, and whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for community and economic development that helps to revitalize both commercial and residential areas, and whereas historic preservation assists in sustainability efforts because, in the words of the former president of the American Institute of Architects, Carl Elefante, the greenest building is the one that already exists. And whereas the city has recently shown a renewed dedication to historic preservation by successfully listing the downtown on the National Register of Historic Places, thus securing both prestige and access to historic tax credits. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for all communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and Americans of all ages, backgrounds, and walks of life. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of our collective heritage. And whereas the United States National Park Service has designated May as National Historic Preservation Month.
Now therefore, be it resolved, I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Historic Preservation Month in the City of Rock Island and encourage all Rock Island leaders to recognize the value of historic preservation within our community and our country. I assume there's nobody here to receive those organizations. Okay. Thank you. We're at item number 12.
A special ordinance establishing a handicap parking space at 2022 43rd Street, second reading.
Alderman Spaghettis moves to approve the ordinance as recommended.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Spaghettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Item 13.
A resolution approving an amended employment agreement with the city manager and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract documents.
Swanson moves to adopt the resolution and authorize the mayor to execute the contract documents.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Spaghettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Item 14.
Claims. A, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $415,503.90 to Walter D. Lott Incorporated, East Moline, Illinois, for 2020 and 2021 sidewalk and pavement patching program, project numbers 2140, 2142, 2377, 2411, 2434, and Parks Path for services provided February 21st through March 19th, 2021. B, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $13,335.23 to Langman Construction Incorporated for an emergency water main repair at 3901 6th Street. C, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $16,980.21 to Langman Construction Incorporated, Rock Island, Illinois, for an emergency water main repair at 26th Avenue and 40th Street. D, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $21,095.22 to Langman Construction Incorporated, Rock Island, Illinois, for an emergency water main repair on 20th Street and 16th Avenue. E, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $33,788.00 to Green Space Associates, Davenport, Iowa, for payment number 12 of the sod replacement program, Project 2141 and 2740, for services provided from December 30th, 2020 through April 7th, 2021. F, report from the Human Resources Department regarding payment in the amount of $18,059.32 to David G. Morrison, City Attorney, for services rendered in April 2021. And G, report from the Human Resources Department regarding payment in the amount of $9,544.10 to Marjorie Tallman for a payment of a general liability claim.
Alderman Poulos makes a motion to approve the claims items A through G as recommended.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Spaghettis, Alderman Spaghettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Item number 15.
Claims for the week of April 16th through April 22nd, 2021, in the amount of $512,523.17. April 23rd through April 29th, 2021, in the amount of $417,735.95. April 30th through May 6th, 2021, in the amount of $726,275.01. And payroll for the weeks of April 4th through April 18th, 2021, in the amount of $1,539,159.03. And for the weeks of April 19th through May 2nd, 2021, in the amount of $1,547,375.44.
Motion to allow the claims and payroll.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderman Spargettis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
We're now on item 16, other business.
Yes, this is Alderman Spargettis. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to take a moment to say that it's been an honor to serve my community. It's with a great amount of emotion that I leave the council, but I want to thank everyone for their support through the years, past and present. And I feel privileged to pass the baton to Alderwoman-elect Judith Gilbert. Thank you to the mayor, the city manager, the council, all the city employees for the wonderful jobs that you do, and to the citizens for the role that they play in interacting with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. I would like to say something here, and actually we have, James, I don't know if you can see it, if you're watching or not, but we have a plaque here that reads, presented to James Spargettis, 3rd Ward Alderman, 2017 to 2021, in appreciation for your outstanding service and dedication to the citizens of the city of Rock Island. And it's got the coin, the challenge coin in it, that we would like to get that to you. And thank you very, very much for your service. And I know this is actually not your first time. You were on the council a number of years ago. And so you came back and served the citizens. So thank you very much for that time and dedication.
Thank you, sir.
I also, and unfortunately, Alderman Clark, I don't believe is on virtually. He's had some health issues, but he's getting much, much better. And we thank everybody for that, all the prayers. He's had a rough go at it, but he's making a good recovery. We're glad to see that. We thought he might be able to even be here tonight, but unfortunately that didn't quite happen. But we also have a plaque in Ivory's, for Ivory also. Alderman Clark, once again, reads presented to Ivory Clark, 1st Ward Alderman, 2013 to 2021, in appreciation for your outstanding service and dedication to the citizens of the city of Rock Island. So thank you once again, Alderman Clark, for your dedication. Is there anything else for other business? If not, we're on item number 17.
Alderwoman Swanson moves to adjourn sine die.
Second.
Been moved and second. I'm going to assume there's no discussion on this one, but we do need to do a roll call.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Spargettis,
Yes.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
5-0, motion carries.
Thank you very much. We're still the same council meeting. We haven't stopped everything else. We're just going to do the ceremony. So.
Move over this way a little bit so they can get a picture. Yeah, there you go.
I, Mike Jones, having been elected to the office of mayor, in the city of Rock Island, aforesaid, County of the Rock Island County aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State,
Constitution of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the office of mayor
the duties of office of mayor
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I'll put it on my side then, Mark. I'm just kidding. Sometimes my wife calls it the circus, so I come home and just play everything everywhere. It just doesn't look good for photos. Yeah. You got your family? I think the family.
That's good.
I, Moses Robinson Jr.,
I, Moses Robinson Jr.,
having been elected to the office of First Ward Alderman
having been elected to the office of First Ward Alderman
in the city of Rock Island,
in the city of Rock Island,
in the county of Rock Island aforesaid,
in the county of Rock Island aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of Illinois, the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Alderman
the duties of the office of Alderman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
This one, and then usually they flipped it over, like when we were elected. Chuck took his out and I was already there.
I will sign that one for you
City clerk.
with my best penmanship in theory.
Like they flipped it. Huh? I guess they came in and said, I'm just chocolate over there.
Oops.
No, you're fine.
Do you want family up here? Do you want family up?
Somebody else did.
I'm gonna bring mine up.
All right. Well, they're all taking pictures. You gonna hold it so I can see it too?
I, Judith Higgins Gilbert,
I, Judith Higgins Gilbert,
having been elected to the office of Third Ward Alderwoman
having been elected to the office of Third Ward Alderwoman
in the city of Rock Island,
in the city of Rock Island,
in the county of Rock Island aforesaid,
in the county of Rock Island aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will fully discharge
and that I will fully discharge
the duties of the office of Alderwoman
the duties of the office of Alderwoman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
how about we go this way, Jack?
You know what? There you go.
You want to hold the microphone for me? All right, I can figure it out. You want to hold it for me? Thank you. Will you hold it? Thank you.
Very good job. I, Dave Geenan,
I, Dave Geenan,
having been elected to the office of 7th Ward Alderman
having been elected to the office of 7th Ward Alderman
in the city of Rock Island,
in the city of Rock Island,
in the county of Rock Island aforesaid,
in the county of Rock Island aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I'll faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Alderman
the duties of the office of Alderman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Ready whenever you're ready. All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order and start with a roll call.
Alderman Robinson.
Here.
Alderman Hurt.
Here.
No cheering section.
Alderwoman Gilbert. Alderwoman Swanson.
Here.
Alderman Parker, absent. Alderman Poulos.
All right, Mark.
Here. Alderman Geenan.
Here.
Here.
All right.
We have a quorum.
For public comment, I don't know if there is any out there. Anybody have any comments? I'd like to make one, I guess, in regards, a little more personal. I have a number of my family members out here, and I just wanted to kind of recognize that real quick, because my father's here. It's difficult for him to get around everything else, so it means a lot to me to have him here to witness this moment. And so I want to thank you. He's been my mentor. He's been the one that's set the pace in telling me and encouraging me to get involved in the community throughout the years, back when I was a young kid. And get in. My parents showed the example of what it takes and to get involved and make a difference. But then I go to my wife, that once again, after I get there, and she's met up with me, that's there to help support that and encourage me to get involved and do things, and puts up with some nights that I'm not home on time or weekends that I have to do work and everything else. So thank you very much for your support, Sarah. I appreciate it. That it carries on. I got a daughter here out of the 3 children. One is here. The other 2 couldn't make it. But her and her husband are here. Once again, support, and have been a very good sounding board for me to work with and encourage in a lot of different areas. As we talk about, not to belabor this, we talk about diversity and inclusion, and she's one that I'm able to reach out to and help me with that. And so it means a lot for my kids to encourage me, to help me, lead me, teach me things that I don't know. But I also want to teach them and set that same example that my father and mother did to me. And then I got 3 of my 10 grandchildren here. And so there's 4 generations here. And so we want to set that pace. So thank you very much to all of my family for their support.
Don't forget Tom.
Tom. Hey, thank you, Clara Dell. He's hiding behind Mike, and so, yes, you're absolutely right, because my brothers are the same way with that. You talk about diverse and everything else. There's 5 of us, and there's no doubt when you talk to all of us, you'll see the differences. And their support, though, in helping encourage me and stepping up to the plate also when I've needed it. So there's no doubt my siblings have been very supportive, and thank you. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I'm honored and humbled to serve the citizens of Rock Island. Yes, sir.
I echo that statement. My family is here. Family members that are watching online, but my beautiful wife, Yosava, has definitely pushed me through the years to be to the place where I am. My mother-in-law, Sarita, my daughter, Tanaje, my son, Jamir. My other son is actually active duty in the Army, so he's in Louisiana. But then I have my leaders, the one who's definitely inspired me to do the things that I'm doing right now, because I would never imagine me sitting in the seat. My parents, Ida and Moses Robinson. My oldest sister, Evelyn. My niece, Brittany. And my sister, Rita. There's other members out there who taught me, and the village raised me to be here. So I'm definitely a product of the village raising the child. I thank everyone who voted for me. Those who did not vote for me, I pray that I can be there for you and be that voice like I mentioned in the campaign. That's the whole purpose of me sitting here, to be that sounding board for you. So I thank everyone, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I would, before you jump in, I just want to say welcome to Alderman Robinson and Alderwoman Gilbert. We are very happy to have you here joining us, and we look forward to working with all of you for the betterment of Rock Island. And I'm just really glad to have you here and to work with you.
Thank you.
I echo those feelings.
Thank you. I don't know.
If you wish to or not.
This is emotional for me because 3 of my siblings were here tonight, along with my daughter. But the other most important people in my life are watching from heaven. My beloved husband, Lowell, my parents, James and Marie Higgins, and my sister Janet, who passed away last year. My father raised 6 children to be individuals and to speak our mind, especially when something was wrong. He was an Army man for 32 years, and he set such a beautiful example for us. He's been gone more than 30 years, but I know he'd be watching tonight and would be really proud of me for what I have accomplished from going from city clerk to alderwoman.
Hey.
Well, I think people have heard enough from me, but it's nice to have my family here. And Violet was 4 when I first was elected to council, and is 8 now, and Jack is 3. And they ask what Daddy does on Monday nights, and I'm glad that they get to see, and that they can hopefully one day be change in their community too. So, thank you.
Citizens are going to see great things come from up here, and the city staff. They all do great work and move the city forward, so thank you. All right, on to regular business. Item number 21.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the construction contract with Pillar Construction, Bettendorf, Iowa, for the work on the city's rehab house located at 1435 15th Avenue.
You want to make that motion, or?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Swanson moves to approve the contract with Pillar Construction, subject to minor city attorney modifications, for an amount not to exceed $230,050 $15 and authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents.
Poulos will second.
It's moved in second. Any discussion?
I do have a discussion.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really should vote on this, because I don't think I'm going to give it its honest, Dutch just view with me just sitting here and not having any background on the information. So I just want to just put that out there. I don't have enough information to really make a sound judgment on this motion.
Okay.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes.
So I've watched both study sessions when this pilot program was presented, but with very little discussion. The total amount of this project is $230,000, which is using $190,000 from previous year's unspent CDBG funds, plus $40,000 from an IDA grant. Staff proposed in January spending a total of $425,000 from these two sources to be spent on two houses. While I appreciate the time staff has put into this project, I would hope that there is another way to invest that money with one or more of our many housing partners and leverage that money to make more of an impact than on just two houses. This is a pilot program, and I also have concerns about the sustainability of this program, using this approach for making more affordable housing available in the community. I believe this demonstrates that there needs to be a broader public discussion of how the city is spending its CDBG funds, especially funding for affordable housing. That said, I cannot justify to the residents who voted for me to spend $230,000 on one house and then selling it for maybe $50,000. And I have not made this decision lightly. Staff either need to make a better case for spending the money this way or go back to square one and see what other public-private partnerships we can forge to make that money go farther and not spend $230,000 on one house. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Robinson,
No.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert,
Nay.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Yes?
Alderman Poulos,
Yes.
Alderman Geenan.
Nay. Mayor breaks the tie.
3-3, motion fails.
No, I
Okay,
get
Mayor
to
breaks the
Mayor
tie.
breaks the tie.
break the tie,
Okay,
and it says
Good.
yes.
thank you. 22.
Item 22.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding a request to vacate a section of the street right-of-way, sidewalk portion only, between Fifth Avenue and the alleyway bisecting the 500 block of 18th Street north of 6th Avenue, and convey said property to the YWCA of the Quad Cities, first reading.
Motion to approve the request of the vacation and conveyance as recommended, that a utilities easement be put in place for the same, to suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion?
The reason I'm offering to suspend the rules on this one rather than a second hearing is I was at the Brown Breaking for the YWCA. This project's moving forward. They're going to be building a multi-million-dollar facility in downtown Rock Island. I don't think we need to wait 2 weeks. The staff report stated that there was really no need to inquire on the neighbors of this would have any impact on the easement. That's why I'm acting to suspend the rules.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert,
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 23.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the rezoning from R4, multi-unit residential, to PUD, planned unit development, located approximately at 2001 7th Avenue, parcel 095289.
Poulos will make a motion to approve the requested rezoning of the accompanying planned unit development site plan with all the requested variances.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
School board's authorized on this one.
Dr. Lawrence, I don't know if you want to make any comments or anybody else?
Again, thank you, council members, for just giving me the opportunity to make a very brief statement. again, as superintendent of Rock Island Modern School District, and also as a resident here in Rock Island now, 3136 Integrity Way for the last 2 years. Support this initiative to continue having a Rock Island Modern School District have a footprint here in this part of town. Again, the rezoning and the new facility that we're proposing will help us become a more efficient and effective organization. And it also will give us the necessary space to adequately work with our administrative center, our district-wide production kitchen, and warehousing needs that are currently taking place in current location that many of you know as the old Lincoln School. So again, I just send my support, say that we are happy to be partners with the city and the community, and look forward to great things continuing in Rock Island Modern School District 41. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. I think there's others on the school board. I don't know if they wish to talk or not, or Doctor, you're speaking for them. Is there any comments from the council either? Okay, roll call.
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 24.
Report from the City Attorney's Office regarding changes to the liquor ordinance, specifically as it relates to issuing licenses to applicants who have previously been convicted of a felony.
Alderman Robinson moves to consider the ordinance.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 25.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding a request from Denise Browning, General Manager of Sunset Marina, to host Fun Food Fridays at the marina during the 2021 boating season.
Motion to approve the request as recommended, subject to complying with all licensing regulations and subject to being shut down early if complaints are received.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Denise, you want to make a comment? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. First, I'd like to thank Denise and Tim Kavanaugh for their coordinating efforts to bring these events to a beautiful marina and to the park and get some more visibility down there. And I believe Denise is online right now.
Denise, would you like to say anything?
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to thank City Council for all their hard work and support over the last couple years we've been down here, and we started this back in 2019 and then was unable to continue with it in 2020 due to the pandemic, and we're just really excited to bring this forth for City Council's approval so that we can just continue to build our boating community here at Sunset.
All right. Ready for roll call?
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 26.
Report from the Mayor's Office regarding the appointment of Dr. Pandora Lawrence and the reappointments of Kevin Day, Nicole Parker, and Bill Sowards to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and the appointment of Dr. Yolanda Granberry Pugh, and the reappointments of Patrick Mahar and Karen Phillips to the Library Board of Directors.
Swanson moves to approve the appointments and reappointments as recommended.
Second.
Been moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Poulos.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 27.
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request and a resolution from the Quad Cities Marathon Committee for the temporary closure of the easternmost northbound lane of US 67, Masters Stanley Talbot Memorial Bridge, and the temporary closure of the eastbound and westbound lanes of Illinois 92 and 17th Street to the intersection of 24th Street and 4th Avenue.
Motion to approve the event as recommended and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved in second. Is any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Pulis.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Item 28.
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from Augustana College to use sound amplification on Friday, May 21st, 2021, from 4 o'clock p.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. at Lindbergh Stadium, 520 38th Street.
Pulis makes a motion to approve the sound amplification permit as recommended.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Robinson.
Aye.
Alderman Hurt.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert.
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson.
Aye.
Alderman Pulis.
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
6-0, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 29, other business. Yes, I'm going to start instead of saying, isn't this great to be sitting up here, everybody together? It's been how long since this has happened? And so it is a good feeling. It's always good to get people together and have some audience with us also to learn and share their feelings. So I guess I want to make that comment that hopefully this continues and it looks like we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. This Friday, we potentially might go into the bridge phase and lighten things up a little more or allow a little more people in restaurants and bars. And if all goes well, 28 days after that, June 11th, we go to phase 5, which is back to as normal as we're going to get, short of the CDC's rules of whether it be masks or distancing, but the state will be done with its regulations if all goes well. And that's basically what they're saying, is that it stays the same, hospitalizations and positive rates stay the same and or drop, is what the governor's looking at to make that decision. So we, I think, seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and socialization, I think, very, very important to get out and about. Other business? I would like to then throw out there one other item that I'd like to have the council discuss a little bit, and that is that Linda Moore's retiring in July. She's been administrative assistant and part-time city clerk. Of course, along with Josh here being a part-time city clerk. One was deputy, the other was interim, I guess technically, but type deal. That we do need to post that position relatively quick to get it filled and training. And with that, we need some clarity to make sure that we post it correctly. And so I want to get people's thoughts and feelings on that position. And once again, I think that it's important that we have a city clerk. And I think that we should hire that position sooner than later. There's no doubt about that. But that doesn't mean that the job descriptions with that can't be some of the administrative role that goes with that the administrative assistant's been giving, that's part of the job description. And we would then work with one full-time equivalent and a part-time. At this point, Josh will be going full-time here for a while, but that position would be a part-time until we see the budget, work with the budget, then we can work on making it 2 full-time equivalents or whatever the council sees that, and the city manager see that fit. So I don't know if there's any thoughts added to that or whatever.
I'll start off.
Sure.
I can speak from experience since I was city clerk for 3 years. I think hiring a permanent city clerk should be the priority. It is a professional position. It is not a secretarial or clerical position, which I would like to stress, and that is stated pretty much in the state statutes because of the unique skill set required by a city clerk. There should never be a residency requirement for city clerk, just like for city engineer and a couple other positions. Between a permanent city clerk and Josh continuing as deputy clerk, I'm sure they can fulfill any administrative assistant roles or duties that need to be fulfilled. Randy and I have discussed this. I think the mayor's office probably needs more assistance since he's not in all the time. So, one thing though, according to state statute, the city clerk is appointed by the mayor and city council.
It's correct.
That is correct.
That is correct.
So, and in state statute, and I can pull it up on my phone, it's also that the duties are prescribed by the corporate authorities, meaning the mayor and city council. So my personal feeling is that the city clerk should revert back to the way it was, where it reported to the mayor and city council.
Yeah, and the only question I raise is I know we changed the ordinance at one point for the city clerk to report to the city manager, and so if we're hiring a city clerk, if there is a state statute issue, or if we're unique where other, cities across, municipalities across Illinois have that type of structure, I just want to make sure we're compliant before we go ahead and post it, and might as well just clean it all up at once. And Randy has stated to me he doesn't need a secretary. So, I just wanted a priority just to clarify, are we within statute of having the current structure we changed in January?
Dave, you want to?
Sure, yeah. So I did some research on that today, looking at 65 ILCS 5/5-3-7, talks about the municipal manager powers and duties. And in that, in a managerial form of government, one of the powers that is given, if you have a city or village which was subject to the aldermanic form of the provisions of 65-5-3-1-1 at the time of the adoption of the Article 5 to appoint, then the city manager can and does have the authority, if granted by the council, to act in that, within that capacity. So it can be given by the city council, it was my reading of it, and also can be taken away.
Okay.
So we've been legal at this point in compliance with the state statutes. Now, it still has to be appointed by the council, but it could be managed by the city manager, because we have that style of we voted in 1952, as I talked about, that type of a city ordinance or management. Yes, sir.
Clearly, the decision will be that of council, but, and again, from a supervisory standpoint of view, if we're going to properly supervise the clerk with the number of, and I know that and I read the same statute with the amount of duties that the clerk is responsible for, to me, it would just made sense to have someone on site that the clerk would report to, and if there was a decision that needed to be made, it wasn't a matter of, well, now I have to reach out to 7 bosses rather than one. Clearly, again, the council has the right to change that. It was just, I'm just looking at it from an operational standpoint of view, as a matter of getting the authority to do something that needs to be done in a timely manner.
One thing I would like to just clarify is that the statute says, unless otherwise prohibited by some other statute. I did my best to find some other statute that says you can't do it. I could not find it. If someone believes they can find that, I'd be happy to entertain that. I looked for it most of the day today, and I could not find anything to the contrary. So I just wanted to add that caveat.
There's other cities that have it that way. There's, you can find both ways as far as cities in Illinois. Some have it reported to the city manager, some don't.
And Moline has that, correct?
Correct.
Currently?
They have it reported to the city manager.
Yes.
And, from an organizational and managerial and supervisory standpoint, I would just like to say, it is very difficult to have 7 different supervisors. Each one has their own style, their own goals, their own agenda. In any job, this would be difficult and a challenging situation to deal with. It sets up conflicts in whom to follow. It sets up dissension among the supervisors if their way is not followed. And to allow an employee the best chance of success is to have their direct line of supervision be with one person that gives one set of directions and avoids confusion and conflict. A strong, positive professional relationship between the clerk and the manager is important for effective service delivery to residents. If we want our new city clerk to be successful and to stay, then we need to allow them the tools and the avenue to succeed. 7 bosses never work well for consistency in goals, directives, and a clean and clear line of supervision. We do not have daily interaction with the clerk, but the city manager does and should. This is important for a full-time employee. The clerk does not have a remote job and should not have remote supervision. We have a very unique situation this year because we do have our former city clerk on council, which I'm very happy to have you here. But because of this, I think it may be prudent and beneficial for us to keep it the way it is with the clerk reporting to the city manager, just to make sure that whoever we hired has the opportunity to succeed and stay, because I don't think we want to run through a series of city clerks that we are, employing, but putting them in a no-win situation where you have part of council saying one thing, part of council saying another thing, and this poor person is stuck in the middle and really not knowing what to do. So my opinion is we should keep it the way it is right now. If it's going to not work, we can look at it in 2-4 years down the road, but I think for the time being, it really needs to stay the way it is.
I'd just like to make a comment about the supervision, because we currently have that same style of supervision with our city manager right now, right? He reports to the council, which is
That's
7 individuals. So we have a record of it working. So I don't think that's, would be a complete issue. With that particular position, the person that will actually get hired for that position will understand that concept going in. You're going to have a different style of supervision if we go that direction. But I think us as aldermen and alderwomen, we need to just do our due diligence, and we won't just bombard the person with, ungodly tasks to make the position difficult. We have to be professionals in what we request and how we request it. So that means we have to have some type of order going forward with that if we choose that direction.
And so that's where I guess once again, my thoughts are, and it happens. It worked. It's worked for a number of years here. It did work. It's worked in other cities. And they found that some other cities have changed it to like what we've changed it to. So I think either one can work. There's no doubt about it. Alderwoman, Swanson does make a point of a former city clerk being here that can add conflict or can add, helpful there. But of course, it can be helpful either way. I would hope that it would help, use a helpful hand for those that had the expertise. And we can change it any time. And I guess thoughts are is if we keep it the same for now, we can come back and look at it. But there's I'll say one new council member. There's 2 new up here. One that obviously has not had the experience and everything else. That we give it some time the way it is. And if we see that it's not working or we want to change it, we can do that. But before we make I hate to use the word knee-jerk reaction to change it now or change it soon, before everybody's got some experience with it, to see how it goes and works forth, and we can come back and visit it, in theory, whenever. But once again, it also helps in clarity if those that have managed individuals before, that if you have one that you report to, there is some it does make it easier in clarity on direction to go and do, that you don't end up with different directions. We kind of give an indication going one direction, city manager, because it's a day-to-day stuff also, gives a different direction, and there could be some conflict within the individual. It can be worked out, but it could happen.
Was there an issue why we changed it from, because you stated that we had that style before, was there a reason why we changed it?
We changed it in January, and it felt like a knee-jerk reaction, change in January, in terms of a discussion that we're having now. It felt like to me.
I don't believe it did. I mean, there was a definite reason it was changed in January. But I think when I came on council, having the clerk report to the city council was not an optimum situation because you had council members going this way, going that way. There has been rhetoric in the last couple weeks that council will be divided. When I hear rhetoric that I have 4 votes locked in, I can do whatever I want.
Where did you hear that?
That concerns me. So I just think, before we had lots of different directions that we were going. When we went ahead and changed it in January, to me, it's been seamless. It's worked really, really well. because there is one person giving direction. The council sets the policy, we give the direction to the city manager, who implements the policy, and the clerk is the one to make sure that the process is followed and everything is kept transparent. And I think that works really well, but I think having the clerk report to the city manager provides them a really good, strong working relationship, and it keeps the city clerk out of the situation where you have these council members telling them to do one thing, these council members telling them to do something else, and here's a brand-new person who doesn't know which way to go and who to listen to, and I think that that is a really bad situation to have. And we talk about how it's worked with the city manager. Our city manager's been part of the city for decades, and he's a strong personality, and so he does not get caught up in the back and forth between council. And I think a new person coming in, that's an awful lot to ask someone to be able to stand up to.
But if you're hiring someone, you're checking those qualifications. They're going to have some background in having that style of management. It's not something that's going to be new to them. And again, I'm not speaking either way. I'm just making a general statement.
Yeah.
You're not going to hire someone who has no background with any of this stuff that we're talking about.
That's not true. That's not true. You hope to have somebody that's got experience in clerks and everything else, but.
Well, then that's something we definitely got to check then.
In the past, we've had some that did not have clerical experience.
No, Moses, I was the first city clerk hired with any municipal or government
That's correct.
experience.
So it is, I want, these are rare, but it's not always you find that they basically learn as they go about the rules and regulations that have to be dealt with as a city clerk. They're just, you don't see that very often.
Okay.
And/or in the same management style that we have. You get into a village that you don't have a city manager, and so, and the home rule act can make a difference, and not every city has that. And so you run into that you have to train and educate as we go. And we're very honored and privileged to have Judith at this point to be able to help assist with that. There's no doubt about it. And so that we have that above other cities and everything else. But that is very common to have to learn. I don't want to repeat too much, but it's pretty common.
Well, I just pray us as colleagues, we can work together as a cohesive unit, and we won't have the divide, whatever we're speaking about. You know, this is, I guess, first day isn't the day to talk about that type of stuff, but me personally, I don't like coming into a chaotic situation, and I pray that I'm able to come in and have a teamwork so we can continue to move the city forward. That's why we were elected. That's why we're here, not to have our own personal issues, but to work together as a team. And that means if we go with that style with the city clerk, it's a team effort. It's not an individual effort. And that's our job to try to, curtail that, to stop that. So that person won't get, strayed either way and end up leaving us. So I understand.
I would just like to add, so I think we're forgetting the primary role of the city clerk is to do the business of city council, preparing agendas, writing minutes, preparing ordinances, writing resolutions. That is the work of the city council, which the city clerk carries out. I would like to make one request that at least one, if not two members of council be on the search committee. Now, when I was interviewed for city clerk, they actually had two council members and the mayor, among other people, which they did not post that. You can't have that many people interview, but you have to post it as an open meeting so that you're not in violation.
Or do it
of
separate
OMA.
meetings, but yes.
Yes,
And I don't see a problem with that, myself personally, and I'm not sure the city manager does as far as council involvement, because they're going to work with the council, there's no doubt about it. The other is they also do work a fair amount with other staff in City Hall. Once again, you talk about, getting memos and that sort of thing from different departments and understanding language. They have to talk to the Economic Development Department, the Police Department, the whatever. And so this person does interact with a number of city staff or City Hall people. And so I think it's important that, once again, they feel that part, and that once again, the flow chart is of such that it falls in there. Because if there is any issues or things come up, and they can give, it's easier to give a directive or performance issues when there's somebody here that sees what's going on a day-to-day basis versus somebody that just hears, he's got to sit down and listen to what their story and other people's stories and everything else to try to make a decision to settle a dispute. The city council, I think, will always be involved with this position and be consulted by the city manager on issues. I think the current city manager has done that quite well, of sitting and asking the people's opinions and thoughts and directives and getting consensus. And so I think that we can have the city council's consensus and thoughts on a day-to-day basis worked into through the city manager on managing this individual. So we obviously are not going to be taking a vote, but it's just a matter of trying to get a feel, so when we do advertise, how that goes out, how the job description is, and the report, how it gets reported to. Any other comments? I don't see a clear consensus with everybody, but yes, sir.
So, not to reiterate everything else that's already been proposed by Alderwoman Swanson and Alderman Poulos, I tend to side with keeping it as is as of right now, just so giving you my opinion on it.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Words of wisdom? If not, item 30, we need a motion to adjourn.
Until Monday, May 24th?
Was there, did you have something else, Judith?
No, I'll take it up with you personally.
Okay, all right.
I second it.
Moved to second. Any discussion on adjournment? Roll call.
Alderman Robinson,
Aye.
Alderman Hurt,
Yes.
Alderwoman Gilbert,
Aye.
Alderwoman Swanson,
Aye.
Alderman Poulos,
Aye.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
We are adjourned.